back. So, let's open this up. Let's begin another lesson I got prepared for you guys today. Give me 1 second, let me load that up. All right, let's see where we left off at. All right, so I hope everybody's doing good. So this episode is gonna be about setbacks. Well, let me correct myself. This episode is gonna be about comebacks. All right, so I hope everybody's doing good out there. This episode is about the comeback. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they've been betrayed. They've been making a lot of mistakes, and they've been dealing with a lot of, how do I say this? They've been networking with the wrong people, dealing with the wrong people. You know, so this is about the comeback. Right? So I made a list. We're gonna go through the list. Pardon me if I talk slow. That's how some people learn. So I'm trying to just pace myself so you guys can intake the information. You know, try not to be too boring, but at the same time, this is vital information for those who don't really have too much money and want to still learn, you know. Unfortunately, everything's surrounded by that. So I try to make it as easy as possible to still, you know, find like a balance between giving you what you need and then, you know, hopefully advancing and to like a paid one-on-one. You know what I mean? So the comeback from betrayal, mistakes, and wrong people. So the first that I have on the list is betrayal reveals who was never meant to stay. Not everyone is assigned to your next level. Betrayal removes the wrong alignment. So, okay. So, let's do this all over again. What up? Hope everybody's doing good. This is your boy Intro the Intern. And this episode, we're going to talk about the comeback. And I know a lot of people out there networked with the wrong people, worked with the wrong people, worked and were co-workers, friends with people that end up being toxic, not really people that you really want to do business with, or, you know, it's a lot out there. Betrayal, setbacks. So in this episode, I'm trying to give you guys reasons to come back. Give you guys reasons of why the comeback is so important. A lot of people is going to count you out, especially when a lot of people study you to do the worst. And you got to look out for that. It's very important that you look out for those who are trying to corner you. I've been there. So the first thing that I have on the list is to prove your growth to yourself. So the comeback, honestly, it's a bittersweet thing, but it's the greatest feeling from being down bad. Like I said, being betrayed, being tricked, and just naively not knowing who you're networking with, who you're working with, who's in front of you. So you got to be very careful, especially nowadays when you got to protect your energy. You want to grow. So the comeback shows growth within yourself. It's you stepping back out there. You learned what you learned, good or bad. You know, you grew from that, and that's how you're able to actually come back. You're gonna be able to be stronger. You're gonna have more knowledge. You're gonna have more courage. Your confidence level should be up by now. And all of these things are part of the comeback, you know? So my underdogs out there, I'm with you, you know? I'm definitely with you. Number 2 on the list, I put to rebuild your reputation. So a lot of times your reputation gets shot. You know, after all these things that happen, all of these spirals, and sometimes it's not even betrayal. Sometimes it's just sheer bad luck. You know, you could just have a string of bad luck, and you're like, man, like, I don't know why this is happening, but it's part of your redirection. It's part of your growth. It's part of your path, and you just have to trust the process. You don't know why you're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this half of the time, but I know I have to do it. You know, there's a higher power telling me to do this. Just like there's a higher power telling you to do what you want to do. Whether you have a business and you have to implement audio and video so you can reach your clients, reach your future fans, future customers, your one-offs, whatever it is, or you want to make that film, you want to do your own podcast, um, you know, the comeback is very important, and your reputation will get hit, like I said, sometimes, it could just be sheer bad luck. So building back your reputation not only matters for your name and be able to have them doors that were once closed open up, but at the same time, you just want to get back out there. You want to prove to these people now. So now your growth was to prove to yourself, but now your reputation, you're proving to everyone that doubted you, everyone that kind of closed them doors, blackballed you. So now it's time for you to shine. Now it's time for you to come back in the game and win the chip. Number 3 on the list I got is to correct past mistakes. Yeah. It's hard. It's so hard to relive those moments and know that you were supposed to record that video and you were supposed to capture that moment. You didn't. You forgot the battery. You forgot the light. You forgot the settings on the camera. You forgot the lens that you needed. You had the lens cap on. You had the microphone plugged, but the power was not turned on or the settings was not enabled. You thought you had the microphone plugged into the mic port, the 35 millimeter, the XLR. Usually is the 35, the 3.5, sorry, millimeter. And then you ended up putting it in the headphone jack. Trust me, I've been there. It's like, oh, you forgot the backup camera. The footage is shaky, grainy, too dark, too much exposure. You left a LUT on that you thought was gonna work and it ended up, wasn't enough. You had a camera that you wish you had a full frame camera, but you got a micro four thirds. And now everything is, pushed up when you wanted to capture the full room. Trust me, I've been there. And unfortunately, these are the things that you have to go through for you to master, for you to actually come back and say, yo, I'm ready. And this is why your credibility gets shot, your reputation is always on the line. Just know that everything that you do when it comes down to this type of business, whether you're in this business providing services or you're servicing yourself for your business or your own video, these are the things that's gonna happen, and it could crush you, and it could very well discourage you. And so correcting these past mistakes can really help you and allow you to learn more about where you went wrong. And to be honest with you, the comeback, what I like about the comeback is it allows you to have another chance if you want to have a chance. Like it's like you're making a whole new, you're manifesting a whole new destiny for yourself. And it's there, but it's like you got to activate it. And if you don't activate it, you can't get to that new ending or that twist in your movie, in your life. And now you're still back here in a weird space where you don't know what to do and you're running out of time and money. So it's like, and you're discouraged. So it's important for you to want to come back. It's very important. Trust me. Nobody wants to be there, down and out. And so correcting the past mistakes is definitely important. It's just a part of the game. Number 4, to raise your standards. So, You know, you started off small, and like I said, the mistakes and learning and getting your experience, getting familiar with the camera. I know a lot of people, they want to just hop around with all these cameras, but you got to get familiar with the camera itself. You got to know what the general tools, what do all cameras have in common and what they do, and what they can ultimately give you when you apply whatever settings you want to apply, tricks, lighting, different type of FPS, etc., etc. But you don't want to stay on level one, you know. You want to start going to level two. So that's part of the comeback. You want to come back as a new you, a higher level you. You know, you got that confidence now. You know what to do. You know how to make things happen now. You know where you went wrong. You did all your practice behind the scenes. You're ready to go back out there. So raising your standards is definitely, I would definitely do that, because what's the point of doing all that if you're not gonna want to get to the next level? If you want to stay on that level, like, you know, you made those mistakes so you could get past that level. You like, that's the point. Believe it or not, when you look in hindsight, when you look back, that's when you're like, wow, okay, cool, I get it. Number 5, move smarter, not emotional. Yeah, so being in that dark place, um, being emotionally down, you know, everything starts crashing. So you realize that you can't really be emotional when it comes down to this, because work needs to be done, and there's no money in your feelings. There's no movement in your feelings. There's no growth in your feelings. I'm not saying for you not to feel, you know. There's a feeling that's attached to the audio and video, and when you combine it with lighting and what you present. But at the same time, you gotta move smarter now. So once you raise your standards, you learn what you needed to learn, it's time to move smarter. It's time to say, okay, I can't be in my feelings. I can't make emotional decisions. I have to make logical decisions. You know, and that includes who you want to work with, network, deal with. Prior to that, yeah, the person might be, now on the flip side, the person might be a good person, but they're not a productive person. So you want to move smarter. You want to say, okay, I can't work with this kind of person no more. Emotionally, they got you, but logically, it's not going to work. So move smarter. Number 6 is to replace wrong people with right alignment. Like I said, you gotta move smarter, and part of that and part of your realignment, keyword alignment, that's the word of the year, your alignment. You gotta align yourself with people that not only believe in your vision, vice versa, you believe in theirs. You guys share that drive. You guys both want to come back. Maybe you guys both is messing up, and you guys, and then that's part of the comeback. You're gonna meet people that you align with, but you have to also stay away from people that were not aligned with your vision. You can't. I don't stress that enough. You have to align with people. Intro to intern bottles, by the way. Shameless plug. Oh yeah, and don't forget to log on to introtheintern.com. You gotta align with people that share your vision. Because if you don't line up with people that share your vision, you keep having the same wrong people. You don't know how to categorize people. Well, okay, this guy is great with work. This guy is great with business. This this lady here is great with, you know, lighting, camera work. This lady's on time. This gentleman is, you know, he's late. This person is toxic. It's gonna ultimately affect the work. It's gonna affect everyone in the workspace. It's gonna affect the business. And nowadays, it's crucial to have consistent audio and video Whether you're doing, like I said, a film, or you're doing a vlog or a podcast of some sort, a live streaming, you need a cameraman, you need lighting, you need editing. You can't have the wrong people around you. You're better off being by yourself and learning as much as you learn, investing in your own education, applying that, finding a way to make it happen. Number 7, protect your energy. Oh man, I can't stress that enough. You have to protect your energy. On the comeback, your comeback story, it has to involve all that pain, all that setback, sorrow, people doubting you, but your energy was also drained in that process. You can't go back in that space. You have to. Your energy is the reason why you're making things happen. So you have to, um, you have to be able to come back with better energy. Protect you need your energy. Without your energy, once again, work is not going to be done. Don't stress that enough. Number 8, to build repeating old patterns. Oh, my bad. I'm reading two different things. To build stronger boundaries. Yeah, so after you protect your energy, you have to build strong boundaries. Things can still work. Maybe, there was a lost in translation, lost in communication between the two parties. Maybe the person would just, you guys didn't know each other that well enough and how you guys work. There was a big misunderstanding. Maybe we could get things right. Maybe we could reset this and start over. But you have to set boundaries. And it's simple. I like this. I don't like that. I can work with this. I can't work like that. These are the conditions. It's basically having terms and conditions between you guys so those lines don't get crossed, so you don't feel drained, you don't feel like you're not moving forward and you're not growing. Because who wants to have a comeback story and then it's like, man, I feel like I'm back in the same place? So you got to make sure you set strong boundaries. Number 9, stop repeating old patterns. So now everything and everyone is aligned, but you yourself have to make sure that you do not repeat working with the same people, taking the same path, spending the money on the same areas of your business, spending time and studying in these areas, not learning enough where you lacked. Maybe you were not, your lighting wasn't good enough. You got to start learning. Maybe your audio wasn't good enough. I give an example. A lot of people rely on the microphone, but you still need the engineering know-how to clean it up. Everyone's doing this AI stuff, but you learn it. You have to learn and you can't skip steps. So repeating, most of the old patterns are skipping steps. A lot of people want to skip steps. A lot of people want to say, a lot of people want to do this. A lot of people want to do that, but when is it going to be done the right way? When are you going to actually have this up here so you can actually move forward? You can actually be creative. You can't be creative. You can't come back as a new you if there's no new info. There's no new patterns. You're doing the same thing. Number 10, operate with discipline. So yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a very disciplined person, but at the same time, there's times where I just chill. Because you can't be too disciplined. You'll just burn out. You're gonna burn out. But that's a good way of being the good balance of discipline. But then you have people that have no discipline, that don't know when to do things, that don't know when to execute, that don't know when to just sit down and get the work done. And that's when, I don't understand. Come on, sis. Let's get it together. Let's get things going, the momentum. That's why you got to protect your energy. You can't do the same things. You got to move forward. You can't do old patterns, and now it's time to be disciplined. Without the discipline, the work can't be done. No songs, no videos, no movie, no script, no podcast, no live stream. Like, people want to live stream, but don't live stream. Like, you gotta discipline yourself to actually doing it. Number 11, you want to gain respect back. So your comeback part of that is getting your respect. Letting people know that even though I made mistakes or I fumbled or whatever, but I demand my respect, and this is why I did my homework. Listen, only a hater is not going to respect your hard work and your discipline. Most of the time, people who are hating don't have discipline. Don't. Insecurities, whatever the case may be. So stay away from those people because they will never give you the respect. But there are people out there that would love to give you that respect. But you have to give yourself the respect. You have to respect yourself first. And then true people will see that and you'll gain your respect back. They're going to be like, okay, he or she's back in the game. Number 12. Regain self-confidence. Oh man, the comeback is so sweet when you are so confident. Because then you reach to a point where it's like, I had enough. I had enough. Like, nobody's coming to save you. And even the people that nobody really care, people that do care, they got their own things going on. And as you get older, you'll start realizing people will give you like 5-10% of them, 5-10% of their time, 5-10% love. That's it. So you gotta really find a way to shake it off. I know it's hard. I know when these setbacks, these betrayals, these mistakes, the lack of knowledge, just being lost in this whole just negative vibe. You gotta find a way. You gotta find. That's why you can't do old habits. You gotta find new patterns, new habits, and that's gonna inspire you. It's gonna give you, and then when you just get up and you just go, you be like, hold on, I did that, and then the real is gonna support that, and now you got your self-confidence. You're like, all right, cool. So you gotta respect yourself to get that self-confidence. You gotta respect what you're doing to get there. You gotta say, nah, I'm coming back with the best videos. I'm coming back with the best audio. I'm trying. I'm gonna make sure my light is on, make sure my settings, make sure everything's on point. And that confidence is like, yo, people could feel it, people could see it, it resonates off you. It's like, oh, I'm here. The glow, the aura. I love that. Oh man, I love that. The underdog coming back. And number 13, show resilience. So yeah, you gotta be resilient. You can't give up. You gotta keep fighting. Life is a fight. You're gonna get beat up in the beginning. You're gonna mess up so many times. You might even shoot everything or get everything shot and the editing goes horrible. You might not even do anything. Maybe you're the one that's curating, you're producing, or you're directing this, and the people you working with drop the ball, and that could even, because you're a part of that. It's like, oh man, you might have had a bad eye for picking people. It happens, but you gotta be resilient. You gotta think long term about this, and that's the point of having a comeback. Because you're like, I still want to do this. I still want my kitchen show to be successful, but this big hump is your video and audio. Like, you're like, damn, like I just want to do this, but I gotta do that in order to do this. So trust me, I've been there. I wouldn't be saying this if I ain't been there. Been there. All this on the list, I've been there. Still going through it. I just want to help people in the process, because I get these questions all the time, and it's just like, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just put this all in one for you guys to learn. Number 14, turn your pain into power. Yeah, so all that pain, all of that before the comeback, all of the things that time lost, the money lost, the friends lost, the family lost, the customer fan base lost, all of those losses brings a lot of pain. Oh, it brings a lot of pain. It brings a lot of pain. Pain that you didn't even ask for. But you gotta turn that pain into power. Feel me? You gotta turn that pain into power. Like, let's go to the point where it's like, you want more pain. It sounds psychotic, but that's what it is. You like, bring on the hate, bring on the losses because you're getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. You're figuring this thing out. Even down to the cables, you're like, oh, I should have spent more money on the cables. Why? Because they're just as important. The lighting, the microphone, all these little things, the batteries, they're just as important. And your comeback, you want to make sure that you take care of those things, along with everything else on the list that caused you pain. Now it's power because knowledge is power. So now you get the knowledge. It was the worst way to get it, but you still got it. Number 15, turn betrayal into wisdom. So don't beat yourself up. You didn't know. Betrayal is someone who was watching you, who purposely got close to you, who wanted to study you, wanted to figure out your operations, to sabotage you, to destroy you from within. This is a very devious person. Stay far away from people like that. Far away. And turn that into wisdom. And that wisdom can apply to you most definitely. But more importantly, if this person that's next to you is hearing and want to know more, you can give them that information without them having to go through what you went through. And that's the best way to learn. Number 16, to rebuild with structure. So a lot of times people start off all over the place, or all over the place. They're not organized. They're not disciplined. You know, they're creative. They want to go. Everything's working out. Everything's good. But it's just like, you got to kind of slow down, you know. You got to kind of organize. You have to have systems in place in order to keep this thing going, because it's going to get chaotic. We live in a chaotic world as it is. So you want to be able to have everything in order. You know what I'm saying? So rebuild with structure is important. Making sure that your structure is very secure. You want to make sure your structure is on point. Number 17, create better partnerships. So now you went through all the scumbags, all the jealous individuals, all of the people who was hateful, toxic, lazy, you know, you felt it, you've been there. Now it's time to make sure you find the right people to even just exchange information with, always network with, help you find places that you probably wouldn't have found, to go find other people. Find, or even find people that's really partners with you and they want to invest their time and money in you. So find those people. Don't go back to the same type of people. They were important. They help you learn what not to look for. Or I should say what to look for but not accept. So respect that pain, respect those people for what they did to you, unfortunately. I know you like, what, respect that? Trust me, it's part of the process. It's just unfortunate that they had to be the ones to teach you that lesson. But you gotta be optimistic. Now your comeback, now you're gonna find somebody better, somebody that understands, somebody that you know, you're like, all right, you know, maybe you was giving out too much information. Maybe your next person, you won't talk as much about things. You'll just see more action. Number 18, attract higher level opportunities. So now you rose your standards up. Now you want to go say, hey, I've been on the bottom. What do I got to lose? Honestly, let's keep it real. Like, in a day and age where people don't want to work, people are emotional. Everything's going off of emotions. Dark place, laziness. Believe it or not, you're at the top of the list, and your experience, because you went through all your season, as they say. You went through all of this, so now you're actually on top of the list. You'd be surprised how much people need help. And what's intimidating is when you see these ads, you see these job offers and all that, or even when, let's say you're not looking for jobs and, you know, you're a business and you're looking to, like, you know, get camera work done, and you're like, oh man, like, you're hearing all these terms and all these type of, listen, for business owners or whatever who need help, anybody who needs help, keep it simple. Stop creating all these big words and terms, because you're pushing people away. And for the people that want the big opportunities, go for it. These big words and all that, it's gonna boil down to one thing: you and them, people. So have that conversation, and then from there, let's make it happen. Trust me, you'd be surprised what kind of opportunities you get just by saying I'm ready. Number 19, you're gonna silence these doubters with results. So maybe your problem was like, you know what, you was talking too much and you wasn't really showing more, or maybe you was just doing your thing. But now with the comeback, you know that they are haters, they doubt what you're doing, and that no matter how much things you say, they're just going to be a naysayer. They're just gonna be negative about it. But one thing that's always gonna stand out, that's always gonna put you on top of the list, it's always gonna make them say, wow, it's your actions. So do more. Once it's finished, you put it out there, and then you let your work speak for itself. That's all I could say about that. Number 20, evolve into a stronger version of yourself. So that's very important. The comeback, that's one of the core things that you want. You want a stronger version, a new version of yourself. You want to be able to know what audio is and how it affects your business, whether it's direct with making, like I said, podcasts, film, controlling your environments, the lighting, settings on your camera. You wanted the programs, or who knows that and can do that for you. You gotta be a better version of yourself. This game is hard. This game is like, you know, this game of business with audio and video, it's not easy. Everyone's doing it. Everyone. So, and that's on a personal level too. You want to be a better version of yourself on a personal level at that. 21, break these toxic cycles. Sorry. Like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that it's like, you know, it's there. Some people were born in these environments. Some people were born in families. I know what that's like, but you can't be around someone that's not doing the work, because you probably did the work. You probably was toxic. You probably made the mistakes because you was toxic, or, you know, it's a new you, and you know, okay, whether you were like that or whether you was around that, you want to make sure that you're, like, these type of things, these type of people don't exist. If they do, you look out for it, you in and you out, you get the job done, and then you just, all right, I'm good. I don't want to work with you no more. Great job, yeah, you're blessed that you even got the job done with someone like that. Okay, cool, moving on, okay? Because that's gonna ultimately affect, like I said, the work. 22, strengthen discernment. So you want to have your connection with God. You know, you're gonna go in such a dark place. You know, things may not be working out. You can't figure these things out. You can't figure the people around you out. And you got to stay closer to God. You know, God is going to give you the answers. That's what the discernment, the messages from God. Look out for the signs. Look out for certain things that's happening. Go with your gut feeling about things. make sure you already educated, you're already seasoned, so your gut feeling once again is not gonna give you discernment. Like you don't want to manifest the same thing. God is gonna give you the answer, but if you want the same answer, then it's what you're gonna get. So strengthen your discernment. 23, build long-term stability. So you gotta think long-term. You gotta buy and invest in things that's gonna at least last you 5, 10 years. So when you do making all these mistakes, by the time you figure this out, everything's still relevant and ready to go. You don't want to get something that by the time like you've done figured it out, messed up, you either hired someone or you did it yourself, and now you gotta move on and learn something else and purchase and or rent. It's an endless cycle that you don't want to. You want to be in front of the curve, not behind. You want to be ahead of the curve. You know, stop changing cars. Stop changing like a lot of lenses and cameras. Like, just stick to something. Where we at? 24. Gain emotional control. Like I said earlier, can't move emotional because this thing's not gonna work out. Leave your emotions for the creative side. Leave your emotions for when it's time to make a script or a song or an instrumental or your color, your editing, like, or the messages you're trying to bring through the video. Do it like that, but don't get emotional when it comes down to the business, the execution side, the lack of discipline, because it's gonna crumble. I'm telling you. 25. Shift from reactive to strategic. You gotta think strategic. You gotta shift your mindset into understanding that whether you're in charge of this ship, it could be you're the editor, you could be the business owner, you could be the DP. Whatever you are, you're in charge of whatever you are. And if you're multiple things, then you have to be in charge with multiple things. Be strategic, systematic. These things help you. Setting up systems help you to think strategic. Learning from all these mistakes should make you more strategic. Number 26, to become harder to manipulate. Oh man, the manipulation games is at an all-time high. That's probably part of your downfall. And the reason why you coming up, you want to stay away from anybody who's trying to manipulate you. They are not your friend. They're not the person you want to work with. They're not the person that should be paying you, you should be paying them. Big no-no. Big red flag, as they say. Manipulation, you got people that will talk this, talk that, make you lose out on opportunities, make you not work with this person, lie, steal, cheat. Anything to throw you off. Anything to make sure. You might actually, especially on the come up, the comeback, when you coming back, when you coming up, they're like, oh, he or she got it together. Now the manipulation game starts getting more and more and more. Stay away. 27, build something undeniable. So yeah, you got plenty of time before you come up, before you step back out, before your comeback season happens. You want to be able to be undeniable. You want to have everything on point. Everything. I want to make sure that you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted. A treacherous game. Number 28, earn trust back, including your own. Start trusting yourself more. Don't be too hard on yourself. I know it's part of the process, but you got this. You're gonna be all right. Don't let nobody, even yourself, beat you down. You don't beat yourself up too much. Just get up. That's really the key. Go and do it again. Try again. We're all human at the end of the day. We're not perfect, so get back up and try. Earn that trust. And people, you know, by doing the work, by showing and proving, people will start trusting you again. Because they understand you're human too. You're human too. You make mistakes. They made mistakes. So there's a little bit of compassion there. Show consistency after failure. So a lot of people don't have the consistency, and it's cool. Sometimes you gotta be inconsistent to be consistent. You have to know what it feels like to be lazy and to not be disciplined and to not be consistent and keep at it. And it's hard because you got to be self-motivated and whatever you're doing. Like I said, with the business owner or whether you're playing a part in the business, you have to increase your consistency. And last but not least, transform setbacks into leverage. So at this point, you come back. Now you did everything you had to do. So now you have better offers. You raise your standards. You know what you want. You know what you're able to receive. You know what kind of work you're able to handle. You know your worth. So that means you have leverage. You invested in things that you can leverage. You put in the work that other people, you did things that other people wouldn't do. So the ball is in your court. So I'm about to wrap this up. This podcast episode was about the comeback. So hope you guys found this very informative. And I'm going to play a song of mine as I always do. I'm gonna keep it short. We're gonna play Rats. Yeah.
It's Crack Masters, baby.
These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. Truthfully, I've been on the grind, now you see. I made a way, now you believe. It's the way that it just had to be. I be on the move, high on the moon. I ain't wasting time, dog. This is what I do. Fuck around, dog. You gon' fuck around, get chewed. When you see me, dog, I just wanna touch the loot. When you see me, dog, I just wanna see salute. The only time to press is when I'm touching the blues. The devil on my back, he know that I'm the truth. When you getting money, you know this. Fuck you, let's go, yeah. These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. Written, produced, engineered, mixed, master, recorded. So stay focused, stay locked in. I'm on my comeback too. This is my comeback. Yo, it's your boy Intro the Intern. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys support, what I'm doing. I got plenty of merch. I got vinyls at www.introtheintern.com. It's Crack Masters Productions. We cracking through the matrix.